Hello everyone, I'm Đức Trung with VTV International. This is the English Bulletin, VTV News, coming to you live from Hanoi. First, let's get you up to date with the headlines. National Assembly deputies debate Vietnam's socio-economic plan. The special role of platform DK1 in defending the country's sovereignty. And later, Da Nang introduces new tourism products in response to high tourism demands. On to the first update of this hour. National Assembly deputies this morning discussed socio-economic issues focusing on last year's implementation of the National Assembly's resolution. The deputies also worked on a budget plan for 2014. According to the deputies, the macroeconomy has shown signs of recovery with the increase in FDI effectiveness, foreign currency stock, and slowing inflation. However, they also pointed out weaknesses that have remained in the economy, including business bankruptcy, high inventories, budget overspending, and slow development in the agriculture sector. The National Assembly deputies said the government should complete the restructuring of the economy and prepare for future economic growth. Amidst tensions in the East Sea, the overseas Vietnamese communities have contributed greatly to raising awareness of China's illegal actions abroad. At a recent meeting, National Assembly deputies acknowledged their contribution as indispensable.
National Assembly deputies have praised the peaceful measures employed by overseas Vietnamese in protest of China's actions. They considered this an occasion for overseas Vietnamese to show their patriotism and called upon international support.
In almost every nation with Vietnamese communities, gatherings and donation campaigns have taken place. Beyond any political motivation, their actions come from the heart. Through their actions, overseas Vietnamese of all ages have given great psychological encouragement to their fellow Vietnamese at home. Their role in this struggle is not to be overlooked.
Deputies have also commented that each overseas Vietnamese can act as an agent in Vietnam's people-to-people diplomacy efforts. They communicate Vietnam's policies as well as voice the Vietnamese people's struggle for peace and justice.
Many foreign supporters of the country, including friendship organizations, have joined in the activities of overseas Vietnamese communities. Their reach has grown beyond expectations.
In past weeks, Vietnamese embassies and overseas communities have organized frequent gatherings to oppose China's actions. In addition to sending letters of opposition to Chinese agencies in their respective countries, they have also raised funds for Vietnamese soldiers who are working night and day to protect Vietnam's seas and islands.
The 11th Glorious Vietnam Awards, hosted by the Vietnam General Confederation of Labor, the Central Council for Emulation and Reward, the Labor newspaper, and Vietnam television VTV, took place this morning in Hanoi. The event honored 19 individuals and 11 organizations for making outstanding contributions to patriotism. Despite their different social backgrounds, the honorees have all made efforts to develop the country's social economy while maintaining security and social order and improving people's living standards. At the event, President Trương Tân Sang urged the community to improve their performance at work, to study and follow President Ho's moral examples, and to serve as examples for young people to follow. Vietnam's Ministry of Rural and Agricultural Development has instructed relevant authorities to ensure security for fishermen in the Central region so that they can continue fishing near the Hoàng Sa or Paracel archipelago. Despite recent antagonism from Chinese ships, Vietnamese fishermen have still set out to sea to work and protect the country's waters.
In the southern province of Giàn, more than 12,000 fishing boats set out offshore to fish. For locals, fishing is a main source of income. It is also one of the key economic sectors in the province. Local authorities have helped the fishermen by updating them with the latest information and guided them to work in accordance with the law. Thousands of fishermen in the southernmost province of Cà Mau have also set sail to the sea to work and show their solidarity with the fishermen in Trường Sa Island. Since early April, the catching volume has increased 11% from the same period last year. In Cồn Cỏ, one of the biggest fishing grounds in Central region, there are 200 fishing boats that go out every day. The boats come from central provinces, including Nghệ An, Thanh Hóa, Quảng Bình, and Quảng Ngãi. Authorities are working side by side with the fishermen to help them work safely in Vietnam's waters.
Now, over the past few days, VTV News reporters have been present on fishery control vessels to report on the activities of Vietnamese fishermen in their traditional waters around the Paracel Islands. Our reporters noted that the Chinese have established a roughly 7 nautical mile perimeter around the Haiyang Shiyou 981 oil rig. Chinese enforcer ships and their fishing vessels are chasing and attacking any Vietnamese fishing ship that enter this zone. But defiant of the life-threatening risk, the Vietnamese fishermen are persevering and clinging on to the sovereign seas of their fatherland.
A fisherman from Thanh Khê, Da Nang had to dive under his boat to repair it after being rammed by a Chinese fishing ship. Fortunately, the damage was fixable at sea. This fishing boat has 14 crew who live in small cabins. Talking with them, we can feel their unsung valiance.
Here's where we eat and sleep. We work during the day and eat and sleep at night. We take turns to keep watch for Chinese ships because we can't run due to our ship's low horsepower. Our ship's cabin and steering wheel were damaged, but we made do, hanging on to the seas and islands of Vietnam.
Fishermen are joyfully sharing the initial fruits of labor. After just 1 week at sea, they have caught a fair amount of fish and squid, simply because they know these waters like the back of their hand, just like their grandfathers. The Vietnamese fishermen are not alone at sea. The Vietnamese Coast Guard and fishery control ships are standing by their side.
This time of the year is the best time for fishing, and our fishermen should be assured that they can stay at sea. Our maritime law enforcement forces are always there to assist them.
There remains a worryingly large presence of Chinese ships around the Haiyang Shiyou 981 oil rig that are ready to chase and ram Vietnamese ships. But it is obvious that the Chinese oil rig has been unlawfully installed in Vietnamese seas.
An economics, science and service complex known as the Platform DK1 has played an important role in defending the country's sovereignty over its southern islands, seas and continental shelf over the past 25 years. The following report will bring you a close look at the significance of the platform's contribution to protecting the country's sovereignty and resources.
Dr. Phạm Ngọc Nam has captured photos of his work on the platform for the past 25 years. He said that Vietnamese people are proud if they have a chance to visit the platform. Located in the open seas and battered by fierce waves, the platform stands firmly to protect the country's natural resources.
The platform has a special significance to the country's sovereignty because it helps to manage a large area of the East Sea. In the 21st century, the sea plays a very important role in the country's development.
The platform is situated on coral and mud with depths of up to 25 meters. It has been painstakingly built in compliance with the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The platform functions as a base for Vietnamese fishermen while protecting Vietnam's legal rights and interests in its southern continental shelf. Platform DK1 currently includes 17 units located in the seas of Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu province.
The establishment of the platform DK1 shows the long-term strategic vision of the party and state. If we hadn't built the platform in 1989, it would have been very difficult to protect the country's sovereignty over the seas, islands and continental shelf.
Despite many difficulties, the soldiers and residents live and work on the platform's unit, full of enthusiasm. The inhabitants say that they always remember their promise to make their best efforts to build and protect the country.
Moving on now to other news, the 2013-2014 winter-spring crop was one of the most successful harvests for farmers, but it also raised concerns about consumption due to the falling price of rice. Businesses in the region have been working with farmers to find an output market for their agricultural products, and this model has proven to be effective.
The cooperation project between Quế Lâm Organic Agricultural Company and the Phú Lương Quan Cooperative covers 7.7 hectares of rice fields that are carried by 17 households. The farmers no longer had to worry about hiring helps to harvest their crops or finding an output market since they signed a deal with the company. This season, each hectare has produced 6.7 tons, which sells for $350 per ton.
Farmers used to struggle to find an output market because the businesses used to drive them to reduce price. Now that we're working with this company, we don't have to worry about output anymore, and they even help us with technology and caring for the crops. We will expand this model in the future.
This is the pilot season for the DT39 rice churn, and the company has been helping the farmers to buy seeds, utilize new technology, and follow a new procedure that meets environmental standards. The company buys the crops at a fixed price following the harvest.
We're promoting and educating farmers about food safety in agriculture production. The method uses organic pesticide that will reduce the amount of the residues in the final products. The cooperation between businesses and farmers is a stable model which helps find an output for our crops, boosts the economy, and provides greener and safer products for farmers, consumers, and the environment.
With the initial success of this model, the cooperation between farmers and local businesses is expected to stabilize and improve the agriculture sector.
Vietnam has consistently been the biggest exporter of cashew nuts over the past 8 years, and in the first quarter of 2014 alone, the country exported 52,000 tons of cashew nuts, equivalent to $324 million. The Vietnam Cashew Association, or VNACAS, said that Vietnamese cashew nuts have been exported to 80 countries, and the market will continue to expand. Let's take a look at the efforts that are underway.
According to experts, around 3 billion people consume cashew nuts and products derived from cashew nuts. Therefore, Vietnam has a golden opportunity to increase its processed cashew nut exports. However, further investment into the food processing stage is required. In order to improve export value, the Vietnam Cashew Association, or VNACAS, aims to increase the amount of processed cashew nuts from 8% to 10% this year.
It is important for companies to sell cashew nuts at a price that benefits everyone, including farmers and manufacturing workers. I think farmers should be able to live off their farming produce. For that to happen, we need to diversify products made from cashews and invest in processing.
The biggest Vietnamese cashew nut importers are the US, China and the Netherlands. VNACAS plans to invest nearly $1 million until 2020, focusing on research, farming organization and boosting consumption.
We are renovating our factory and investing in a clean production chain as well as in modern equipment to diversify our products.
Many enterprises have invested in modern equipment to increase productivity, thereby reducing prices. In addition, they have received support from banks in the form of low-interest loans. At the 2014 International Cashew Nut Conference in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu, experts said that Vietnam would continue to be the top exporter. More importantly, many American and Japanese firms have expressed an interest in investing and collaborating with Vietnam's cashew nut export firms.
In the latter half of our bulletin, Vietnam celebrates the International Day of Biological Diversity. And later, Da Nang City introduces new tourism products in response to high tourism demands. Stay tuned for more updates coming up next on VTV News after a short break. And welcome back to VTV News, live from Hanoi. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, together with other related agencies, held a ceremony to celebrate the International Day of Biological Diversity in Hanoi on Wednesday. Themed Island Biodiversity, the event seeks to improve public awareness of diversity in vulnerable areas. Vietnam has earmarked biodiversity conservation as one of the fundamental tasks in its environmental program and will redouble its efforts in this regard. In accordance with international agreements, the ministry is also carrying out a joint media campaign with the Vietnam Youth Federation to advocate the protection of wild animals. Vietnam is recognized for its commitment to conserving biodiversity, but the country still needs to take further action to meet its commitments. Improving awareness among students and young Vietnamese is therefore a key priority. The Wildlife Rescue Center at Phu Mat National Park in Nghệ An Province has released 4 macaques back into the park. The animals were seized by forest rangers from illegal animal traffickers and handed over to the rescue center in February. The 4 macaques were released into their natural environment on May the 19th after being quarantined. The rescue center at Phu Mat National Park was opened in 2006, and since then it has rescued thousands of wild animals. In other news, TripAdvisor, the world's largest travel site, has presented its prestigious Certificate of Excellence Award to the Vietnam Museum of Ethnology for Hospitality Excellence. Only establishments that consistently achieve outstanding traveler reviews on TripAdvisor are conferred this accolade. Based on more than 1,500 reviews by travelers on the TripAdvisor website, the museum maintained an overall rating of 4 or higher out of a possible 5. Museum Director Võ Quang Trọng on May the 21st said the museum is honored to have received the TripAdvisor Certificate of Excellence for the 3rd consecutive year in a row. Since earlier this year, the museum has welcomed an estimated 200,000 visitors, 40% of whom were international travelers. A host of activities are currently taking place from May the 20th to the 26th to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Hoi An Town being recognized as a World Cultural Heritage Site. As part of the celebrations, there will be a workshop to review Cù Lao Cham or Cham Island Biosphere Reserve's operation, as well as the launch of Cù Lao Cham tourism site. Traditional games from nearby fishing villages will also feature in the festival. This is a timely opportunity for the town to promote the conservation and development of its heritage values. Hoi An Ancient Town was recognized as a World Cultural Heritage Site by UNESCO on December the 4th, 1999, and was presented with 4 awards in heritage management, protection, and promotion. In other news, the coastal central region of Vietnam is a hotspot for tourism, especially during the summertime. This year, the beautiful coastal city of Da Nang has introduced a variety of new services to answer tourism demands this season.
This one and only hiking train in Vietnam has been in operation in Ba Na Hills since April. As a part of the Asian Park project, a 125-meter tall Ferris wheel, the fourth tallest in the world, will open in downtown Da Nang in June, along with many religious sites, entertainment centers, and the Guinness World Record Ba Na cable car. These unique tourism projects will provide more exciting options for visitors here.
The city is investing and asking for more funding from businesses to develop the tourism sector here so that we can offer more unique products. I hope that more tourists will visit Da Nang in the future.
In the upcoming season, many cultural, food, and sporting events will be taking place in parks and resorts along the coast of Da Nang, with snorkeling, hiking, and boat trips to attract visitors.
The city and its entertainment centers, hotels and resorts are preparing for the season by improving human resources and services. We are also working with the Department of Industry and Trade to maintain and publish the price of our tourism products, as well as opening a tourist information center.
According to TTG Asia, Da Nang is a tourism sensation in Vietnam, with its unique products and renowned brands with hotel facilities and services. This year, the city's goal is to welcome 3.6 million visitors, including 820,000 foreign guests, bringing a total revenue of $415 million.
Up next, let's take a quick look at a few online articles about Vietnam. Danish processing group Aspersion will close a deal for the plant in Vietnam it currently leases in the summer, as it plans to ramp up production in the country, according to an article on undercurrentnews.com. Aspersion will increase production from 40% of its 10,000 metric ton capacity to fully utilize the plant as part of a 24-month business plan, said its CEO Claus Nielsen. As a result, the company will go from employing 300 to about 700 workers. The next story comes from TTRweekly.com. The Vietnam National Administration of Tourism estimates the country welcomed over 745,000 international travelers in April, representing an increase of 21.51% over the same month last year. China was again the top producer with over 216,000 visits, growing 41.56%, followed by South Korea, Japan, the United States, and Malaysia. All of the country's top markets are in the Asia-Pacific region, with the exception of the US and Russia. The bulk of arrivals in April passed through the two main aviation gateways, Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. The second annual ASEAN Music Festival will be held in Hanoi late this month by the United States Embassy in the capital city and CAMA Vietnam. The event will see performances of bands from the ASEAN region, including Protocol Afro from Indonesia, Big Bag from Myanmar, Pinholes from Singapore, and Stylish Nonsense from Thailand, according to Deutsche News. Art and community groups in and around Hanoi will also join to cheer up the festival. Themed ASEAN Pride Celebrating Diversity, the event aims to promote the cultural vibrancy of nations in the Southeast Asia region, as well as to raise ASEAN Pride awareness.
Foodbusinessnews.net reports Cargill has opened its first cocoa technology transfer center in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu province. The center, which was built at a cost of $60,000, will be the first center to serve as a cocoa training campus for about 2,000 farmers in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu, Đồng Nai, and Bình Thuận provinces. Together with other technical training programs, it will help farmers improve yields by 30 to 50% in 3 years. The company said it hopes the new center will equip farmers to thrive by providing the right skills and expertise. According to WorldCoffeePress.com, plans are afoot in Vietnam to uproot nearly 100 million coffee trees as part of a replanting initiative. It is a process that will not only limit the amount of coffee that the country can grow, but it will also impact export income over the course for the next few years. The average age of the coffee trees are getting too high, it is said. Trees that have been exposed to over 2 decades worth of harvest are likely to average around 1 ton of beans per hectare. That number is remarkably low when compared to much younger trees that can yield 150% more crop. The People's Committee of Central Thanh Hoa Province and a Vietnamese group broke ground on a $57 million golf course and international standard resort project on Sunday. The FLC Samson Golf Links, to be built on an area of 92.4 hectares, will consist of an 18-hole golf course, high-standard villas and hotels, and an eco-friendly system including trees, lakes, and greensward. The project is slated to be completed within 10 months from now.
And that's also the last piece of news we have for you in this hour. Before saying goodbye, let's take a quick look at today's weather forecast. The weather forecast has also closed out VTV News for this hour. Thank you very much for being here with us. Simply visit our website at vtv4.vn to rewatch any of our programs online. For now, goodbye from Hanoi.